I really liked number 10 because the coterminal angle for number 10 was difficult to find, the positive version. So the problem was negative 61/12, is that right? Okay, so negative 61 pi 12. This is number 10 on your warm-up. Okay, so if I wanted a coterminal angle to a radian measure, how do I add or subtract a full circle? 2 pi. So you're going to add or subtract 2 pi. Right? The lazy way, which is totally fine, I'm not judging you. The lazy way is to take your calculator and do negative 61/12 plus 2 or minus 2. That's the lazy way, that's totally fine. Okay? The non-lazy way is to do it by hand, which I'm going to do because we are in Honors Math 3 and we are not scared of fractions. Okay? We are in Honors Math 3, we are not scared of fractions. Repeat after me. I am not scared of fractions. I do not believe you. All right. All right, so negative 61 pi 12. How am I going to add 2 to that? I'm going to put 24 pi 12. Okay. So negative 61 plus 20, and then plus another 4.
That's 37.
Negative 37. Okay, negative 37 pi 12ths. So here's an example of a negative coterminal angle. I took a very negative angle, I added 2 pi, I got a negative angle. Yes? Yes, if you had subtracted 2 pi, you would have got an even bigger negative answer, and that would have been fine. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take the negative 37 pi 12ths and add 24 pi 12ths again, and what do I get?
13.
Negative 13 twelfths. Is that a positive coterminal angle? No, it's another negative one. Yeah, so, okay, cool. I'm an overachiever. I have 2 negative answers. That's fun. But I needed a positive one, so I have to go again. So I've got negative 13 pi 12ths plus 24 pi 12ths equals 11. So finally, I have my positive coterminal angle. So 2 negative coterminal angles, 1 positive coterminal angle, and I'm done. Sure. Some students are like, if this isn't multiple choice, I'm going to add 2 for an hour and a half, and then that's going to be my answer, and you have to say if it's right or not. And then I say, if that's the best use of your time, go ahead. All right. This is not on the sheet, but we're going to do it anyway. So this is warm-up question. What does the warm-up end on?
16.
So this is warm-up question 17. All right. We got 1,286 degrees. No, you can use a calculator. We're going to find a positive coterminal angle and a negative coterminal angle. We can use our calculators. So, to find the positive coterminal angle, what would you like to do? You could add 360 if you want it to be even bigger, but you could also minus 360 and you'd still get a positive answer, right? Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and minus 360. Okay, 926. So I did minus 360, I got 926 degrees. Okay, I can minus 360 again and I get another coterminal angle, but this is still a positive coterminal angle. And I can do it again, but that is still a positive coterminal angle. So then I can do it again, and then I finally get a negative coterminal angle. What a fun time we had. Well, that was a great time. Yes?
So you can pick between any one of the positive coterminal angles.
All of these would have been good. Or if you were like, Miss Royce, oh, I'm mad at her today. I'm mad at her. I hate her today. Then you could be like, yeah, that's my positive coterminal angle. And now you have to put your answer sheet down and try another one. And that's fine. If you want to be like that, that's fine. That hurt my throat a little bit. So make sure if you do that, you have some sweet tea or something to calm your throat, you know?
But Miss Rice, every 60, you multiply it by 100. And then we add that 100.
You can do that too.
And will you find it?
Yeah. Oh, Blake, I know what you're doing. All right. Joke's on you because I'm going to make it a multiple choice answer. All right. Yeah. He's like, none of these multiple choice are the ones I wanted. Here's my own answer. And I go, hey, you didn't follow the directions. 0. All right. Let's go ahead and get our notes out. We're doing example 2. Example 2. Example 2. All right. There is a missing side. How do we find it? Starts with a P. Starts with a PY. Pythagorean theorem. Okay. 4 squared. I don't see an X. I'm going to do question mark squared because it will confuse you guys. You'll be like, what? That's a question mark squared. How crazy. Miss Rice, that's terrible math. I feel uncomfortable. 16 plus question mark squared. Oh, my question marks look totally different. Equals 225. Okay, and then 225 minus 16. So question mark squared equals 209. And then we square root. Ooh, I'm going to leave that as square root 2 over 9. Okay, this is square root 2 over 9. I don't know why I said it that way, but you guys know what I mean. All right. Instead of 209, I said 2 over 9, and I said it multiple times. It's been a good day. It's been a good day. All right. So let's go ahead and start with theta. Go ahead and write this at the top of your page. This is theta. I'm having you write it again because I forgot that I had you write it last night. It's with a TH in front. Theta. That's how you say this out loud. No. 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 That's why I'm having you write it out so that you know how to pronounce it. Theta. No, theta. No, it's theta. Greek came first. Yes, theta. All right, so if this is the angle we were talking about, then what are the names of the sides? Opposite is the 4. Adjacent. Okay. All right. So sine, SOH. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cos adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan is cosecant is, so take sine and flip it, 15 over 4. Secant is 15 over square root of 209. Cotangent is, okay. All right, now I'm going to erase this because I can.
Wow, guys, look, her marker erased it.
I know. Okay, now, does anyone know why I didn't erase this one? It's always the hypotenuse. Okay, now this one, this is how you write this. Are you ready? You have a long tail on the B. And this is beta.
That's a long tail.
Yep. This is beta, theta, beta. It's like we're doing Greek poetry.
Still sounds like you're saying theta.
Nope. Theta,
Theta.
beta.
Wait, so
Theta, theta. All right, so if this is the angle, then what is the 4 called this time? Adjacent. And what is this one called? Opposite. Okay. So sine of beta equals cosine of theta, which is? So opposite over hypotenuse. Cos beta is 4 over 15. That's adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan beta, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan beta is root 2 over 9 over 4, opposite over adjacent. And then for cosecant, hypotenuse over opposite, so we flip sine. For secant, we flip cosine. For cotangent, we flip tangent. Okay. Did I do example 3 and 4 in the video?
Yes.
Marvelous. All right. I have a boring worksheet for you that we're going to practice first, and then we're going to do zombies.
Wow, are we going to make actual zombies?
it's a worksheet.
A super boring worksheet.
Oh, you mean like zombies? Like zombies, like dead people, zombies, and he lives.
Or me. The sounds I make.
Recording. That's the police. Oh. Not appropriate.
Sending that to Officer Huffman. All right. All right, let's look at this boring worksheet. Here's our angle. So what is the name of the 12 side? Adjacent. What is the name of the 5? Opposite. What is the name of the 13? Okay, so cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. So that's going to be it is hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, done. All right, let's look at number 2. You use whatever they give you. This worksheet's all theta. All right, so they are just 2 different variables, kind of like x and y. Okay. So if we look at this one, what is the name of the 16 side? What is the name? Opposite. Because it's opposite. All right. What's the name of the blank side? Adjacent. What's the name of the 20 side? Hypotenuse. Someone other than Daryl. Somebody other than Daryl and Blake. How do we find someone? I'm just kidding. All right. How do we find the missing side? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So adjacent squared plus opposite squared equals hypotenuse squared. What's 400 take away 256? And so the adjacent side is 12. Okay. Cotangent is adjacent over opposite, and if we can simplify, we should. So 12 over 16 is 3 over 4. Okay. Let's look at number 3. Your brain is more ready for it now. This is round 2. I'm sending this to Miss Lopez and Mr. Huffman, and Officer Huffman now. All right. So here's theta. What are the names of the sides? 7 is opposite. Okay. Okay. So we are missing the adjacent side, so we're going to say a squared plus 7 squared equals 13 square root 2 squared. Oh no, Miss Rice, I'm scared of this. I need my calculator. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. 13 squared is what?
169.
Okay. Root 2 squared is what?
2.
Oh my gosh, that wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. 338? Yeah, that makes sense. 170 and 170. Okay, 338. All right, so a squared, if we do 338 minus 49, okay, so secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. Because secant is the opposite of cos. It's the flipped version of cos. So hypotenuse over adjacent. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a real good time. Ooh, do we have to find the missing side on this one?
No.
We sure don't. Why not? Yeah, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, okay. Sine goes with opposite over hypotenuse. Cos. Tan is TOA. So then sine goes with cosecant. So instead of opposite over hypotenuse, it's hypotenuse over opposite. Cos goes with secant. So instead of adjacent over hypotenuse, it's hypotenuse over adjacent. And then tan goes with cotangent. So instead of opposite over adjacent, it's adjacent over opposite. Those are the other 3. So sine, SOH. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite.
Yes.
So, sine. Cosecant. Sine, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. They are very different. All right.
My brain needs to be upgraded to Windows 10.
All right, let's move down to number 5. So let's label our sides. Let's label our sides. 22 is hypotenuse. And then we're missing the adjacent yet again. Adjacent squared plus 11 square root 3 squared equals 22 squared. Yeah. So we have 11 squared, that's 121 times 3. That's 363. Oh, so sorry. Okay.
Jackie, you sound like you're having a good time.
I have a lot of chatting and noise that's making this take longer, which just means more homework tonight, and you know that's fine by me, but I don't know if that's fine by everyone else sitting quietly. They don't like that. That's why they have angry faces on. Okay. A squared is what? A squared? 121. So A is 11. Okay. So cotangent. 11 over 11 root 3. But we can simplify that. Yep. We can simplify this. Yeah, the 11s cancel. So it's 1 over root 3. Very good. Leave the root 3 on the bottom. All right, the next 3 problems have all of the sides in there, so those should go rather quickly. Go ahead and take those silently. You're going to write the answers for those silently. Yep, silently. All right. We are getting to the end of Miss Rice's patience. So it says to find the indicated missing angle or missing side. When I say indicated, I mean the one that is labeled with a variable. So what do you guys see that is labeled with a variable? Yeah, angle B, right? So that angle, we're going to call it theta. So what we're going to do is we're going to label the sides that we're given. We're going to write their names down. So what's the name of this side? Opposite. What's the name of this side? Hypotenuse. So if opposite and hypotenuse are the ones we have, then which trig ratio are we using? Sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm going to write sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. And then how do I get rid of the sine so that the theta is by itself? I do the -1 part. So sine inverse, which is basically dividing by sine, but we don't write it like that. So I'm going to say sine inverse on the left side, sine inverse on the right side of the equation. Sine inverse and sine cancel. And for my exact answer, I get that theta equals sine inverse of 5 over 12. Round all answers to the nearest thousand. All right, so before we go much further, take your calculator, hit the mode button, and we are going to put this into degrees. So down, down, over. It would give you answers that are between 0 and 1.57. No, 0 and 3.14. It'd give you answers between 0 and pi because it'd be doing radian answers. So your numbers would be really small. Yeah. Huh? When you're... I'm not sure. All right. So we're in degrees. All right. So now I'm going to do second sine 5 over 12. Second sine 5 over 12. No. We are going to round all answers to the nearest thousandth, which means we're getting 3 decimal places. So 24.624 degrees.
Wait, if you close the parentheses,
No.
because we did not get 24.
Did you put your calculator in degrees? Did you do second sine?
How did we know that it was sine and not
Cosecant? Because there's no cosecant button on your calculator. No, it's not. Nope. It's not. Nope. I know, but your question is not helpful right now. I will answer it later. Okay.
Does cosecant only happen, or something like that, like, secant only happen when we don't use
So when we are solving, we are going, and when we were using a calculator and we were solving, we're going to use sine, cosine, and tangent because those have buttons on our calculator. When you get up into calculus in your solving, you'll deal with cosecant and secant and stuff because you'll be more comfortable. But at this stage, this is as far as we go.
Okay, so we're not really going
Nope. The only thing you need to know about cosecant and secant and all that is you need to know it for how to write this. This is as hard as it's going to get for you guys with cosecant and secant and cotangent. That's about as hard as it's going to get. It's just knowing like, oh, I find sine first and then I flip it. No big deal. Okay. All right, number 10. We have another angle that we are solving for. So what are the names of the sides? Well, hypotenuse is a name, but it's not one of the ones labeled. So we're not using that one. We're using opposite and adjacent. And so which trig function are we going to use? Tan. So we're using tan. Cotangent also has those sides, but it doesn't have a button on the calculator. So we're going to use tangent. All right. So we're going to say tan of theta equals opposite over adjacent, 7 over 14, or 1/2. And how do I get rid of the tan? Tan inverse. Tan inverse. So theta equals tan inverse. You can say of 1/2 or 7/14, it doesn't matter. And then in our calculator, we're going to type second tan, 7 over 14. Okay, let's do number 12. All right, this one is different. Why is this one different? You have to find a side length instead. We're still going to do the same thing. So we're going to look at the angle they gave us. We're going to write the names of the sides they gave us. So what's the name of this side? Okay, and then what's the name of the 4 side? Hypotenuse. And so which trig function are we using? Sine. So sine of the angle, which in this case is what? 44. So sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, and then what do I do to get that x alone? Multiply the 4 to the other side.
I remember doing that.
Yeah. This is a review day. All right, so we've got 4 sine 44. And the length of that side is?
9.
Okay. All right, go ahead and take a moment. Do number 11. You can flip. Yeah, if you already did it, that's fine. Flip over the page and start working on the back. If you haven't done 11 yet, go ahead and do 11. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you put 0.778, I'll still give you credit. That's called truncated rounding, which is still rounding. I already like number 13 because most students will not like it. So let's do number 13. All right. What are the names of the sides that they gave you in 13? Hypotenuse and opposite, okay? And so which trig function are we using? Sine. Okay, so sine 30 degrees equals 3 over x.
You're dividing by x. You're multiply by x, and then you're gonna like
Yeah, so we're going to multiply the x over to the other side, which doesn't necessarily make the problem easier to start with, but it's going to get us what we want eventually. So x times sine 30 equals 3. Divide by the sine 30. And that, my friends, is as difficult as these get. That was the worst one. Yeah. 3 divided by sine 30 equals 6. Whoop. That was easy. All right. Are we feeling relatively comfortable now that we've hit SOH for the second time in high school? It's less scary? Our goal is that we can look at it and not be like, trig! We can be like, oh, okay, that's trig. Okay. And then maybe eventually it will be like, trig! And then maybe eventually we will name our children Trig. Or, yeah, you'll have triplets, SOH and TOA. Or if you get a Trig tattoo, no, don't tell your parents I said that, they probably won't support it. You could have a daughter named Trigonometria and a son named Trigonometry. No, it's making it female and less female. Like other languages. So boys should be named Christina and girls should be named Christian. Is that what you're saying? Fair. Okay. So you'll have a daughter named Trigonometry and a son named Trigonometria. Okay. All right. So opposite hypotenuse. What trig function is that? Sine. So I'm going to say sine of 21 equals okay, so then what do I do? Okay, so multiply the 16 over to the other side. Okay, plug it in my calculator. They said to round to the nearest hundredth. How many places is that? 2. I love that the zombie guy is creepily staring at me through the page. Now you can't unsee it. Now it's just there. All right, so this is 5.73. Only 2 decimal places because that's what they said in the instructions. Inches. Okay. And then I'm going to pretend that I didn't even do the problem. I'm going to erase this, and then I'm going to go, oh, my missing side is right here. Why? And this is called the adjacent side, and then I'm going to do it again. So now what should I write? Cos 21 equals, okay, and then what do I do? Multiply the 16 over, okay. Okay, so if I look at the bottom, what color do I see? Blue. So I'm going to look at the zombie, and that means his pants are blue. That's a shocker. Blue pants. He's possibly wearing jeans. Yeah, you guys can get the color pencils back. Okay, do we understand what we're doing here? He tells you which answers are at the bottom to choose the color. He's actually a hamster. His name is Hammy. He's a zombie hamster, so he's dead. And if he bites you, your finger will come off. He will take the whole thing. Yeah. And then you will also be dead, and then you'll be eating other people's fingers. It will be very gross.
No, Fred. TRI.